Yeah.
I've just realised my mic's been on mute that whole time. so, so let's start that again.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Matt, in stream for pointing that out. Yes, welcome to the stream. We're obviously talking about the Silent Hill Showcase, joined by Will from Resident Evil Central and R.E.T.I.N.A, Resident Evil Theories, Insight, News, Analysis. Wave again. Take two.
Hello.
So, I think, yeah, if you just sort of dive in terms of what you're hoping to see, like what your big kind of wish for this is. Either one of you want to go first?
I think. Well, I'll go. I think for me, I'd love to see the original Silent Hill. That is my. When I think of the whole franchise itself, that's my favourite outright. And I'd love to see that get some love, like sort of the remake department, because they have talked about in the past sort of trying to copy the success of Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2 remake and such. I think giving that Silent Hill 1 the remake treatment would be amazing. I think that'd be number one. And Silent Hill movies, two of them were fantastic, I think. I'd love to see. There's been rumours about the movie franchise starting again with Silent Hill and going back to the start. See that, where that starts. If we get a trailer of some sort, I don't think we'll get a trailer. My dream would be a trailer for that. But yeah, they're my two things that I'd like to see.
Nice. R.E.T.I.N.A?
I guess for me this is a little bit awkward because I've only played a little bit of Silent Hill in all the time it's been out, so a bit of 3 and a bit of 4, The Room I think it was, and then
Okay.
there was a weird kind of arcade when I played a long time ago. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but Pyramid Head randomly appeared. It was like Time Crisis but with a giant bloat chasing you, and that was quite creepy. And
Yeah.
it's weird my logo decided to show the time. But I guess for me personally, I want to see them. I mean, ideally a remake of the first one would be great, but even for me, I'd just settle for like a remaster of the original trilogy, but done in a way that's maybe not gone down the RE remakes route where it's changed it a lot in the last 2 main entries, but something along the lines of like RE remake, like they've just updated it, kept most of the control scheme, obviously adapted it a little bit more to be maybe more like Tormented Souls or whatever, so it's easier to control for those who can't stand hand controls. But that's the main goal, is to try bring back the nostalgia a little bit and recap for those who haven't played the originals, but maybe even tease a new entry of sorts that could come down later down the line.
Yeah. I mean, coming back to again, Silent Hill 1 seems to be. I mean, obviously, it's the thing that kind of started it off and most iconic, but it's also kind of got left behind on the PlayStation 1, like because when the if I remember correctly, the HD edition was just from 2 onwards, like the one that they brought out after. So
2 and 3 was on a HD edition on PS3.
Yeah.
Remastered.
Weirdly, I've got that. I still haven't touched it. I need to get around to it.
Yeah, so we never actually got 1 never kind of moved forward with the rest of them, which is a shame because I've been trying to get hold of it for a long time, wanting to be able to play it on stream, which I will be doing next week. But I managed to get hold of like an emulator copy, basically. But yeah, if you go like because of how much retro gaming is, like the prices have been jacked up and everything, it's like if you want an actual physical copy of that game, you're paying like 70 quid at the lower end. I think it's going to be much higher, and it's just you don't want to be doing that, really. I mean, you might.
No, it's all completely skewed at the moment, isn't it? It's just completely shot up. But I think it will come down eventually. Can't really sustain that kind of level, really. What you're seeing around the world with money and stuff starting to get tightened on everything else. I don't think you're trying to sell that kind of games and such at that price. I don't think you're going to really push it. But it's definitely get back on 2 and 3. Get that HD edition in.
Yeah. Just get it played. You know what? That's the eternal problem of any gamer, though, isn't it? It's the backlog and how much it starts to pile up after a while, and you're just kind of looking in more and more games, and it's just like, oh god.
And then by the time it becomes less and less, but my game collection gets more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to play as many games as I can this year that came out this year, and it's already getting away from me. It's an impossible task, it feels like. But yeah, we Matty in the comments on YouTube has just said, wish there's a remake or a PC port on Steam of Silent Hill 2. Don't want to pay too much money for it, which I think kind of echoes that same thing. Because that's again, my point of reference is PlayStation, but have there been many in terms of PC ports of Silent Hill? I know that like with Resi, obviously you get like there's versions you can get of all the older games where they've been updated and modded and stuff. I'm not aware as much of Silent Hill in terms of that.
I think there has been 2 versions, if I remember rightly, on the PC, and we've altered it in ways where it kind of the aspect ratio was changed, and some of the music I think was changed as well. It wasn't really a true enhanced edition. I think there is a fan enhanced edition though, sort of similar to what Resident Evil fans did, before we got the actual remakes for 2. I think there is I think it is called enhanced edition, Silent Hill 2, where it's a true sort of fan remake of it, dated, shall I say? I think the official releases were really panned. Even if you just googled it quickly, it'd show you saying,
yeah, I've just
disappointment in it.
Random. It just came up with worst port of Silent Hill 2. It's the first thing I got on the list. Apart from some kind of unofficial fan-made port, something called Silent Hill Orphan. Not sure if that's one anyone's ever heard of, but I'll definitely look that one up at some point.
Yeah.
Feel more sad that I never got a chance to try PT. If I'd known about it at the time, I would have jumped on it.
No, it was
missed out on that.
I had it on my PS4, but my PS4 the bucket, so I lost it.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of, you've got to make sure it's still on there. Even just buying like a second-hand PS3 or PS4 just with that demo on is like gold dust now.
Yeah.
I did see someone manage to jailbreak a PS5 and get PT on there, and then from there they managed to get onto a non-jailbroken PS5 as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the obvious thing with that is if people have these access to these things, share them around so we can all go.
No, definitely. No, is it? Yeah, because it's great to watch people play it, but when you're in control, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
You think, oh no, that's not scary, but literally, turn the lights off, go by yourself in the house playing that, and yeah.
It'd be good to play like the one that started everything as well, because like obviously the amount of games that have mimicked the PT style since, and like, well, pretty much every kind of horror game that kind of came out for a period was in that exact sort of style, and
yeah,
bit hit and miss, not always the scariest, but like, yeah, I think the first time I saw it was like watching Markiplier or someone play it, and just sort of seeing it was freaky, like enough to be like, ooh, I want to give that a go.
It was just so intriguing as well because there were so many secrets. In actual PT, that it just become this whole gold rush, if you will, to people to try and figure it out first, to be the ones to really do it.
Yeah,
It was kind of the exciting thing to do as well.
I mean,
And
yeah, obviously with this, like, whatever they're going to announce is not going to be whatever Silent Hills was going to be, because the relationship with Hideo Kojima just completely tanked, and nothing, whatever was there, they burned every bridge possible. But so don't want to dwell too much on what could have been and mourn it or whatever. But just from the general style of his games, like if we'd got a full version, the amount of stuff that would have been in there and like every possible detail, little Easter egg. I mean, just the density of like that one demo is probably is in like a sign of that.
Yeah, if you can imagine the amount of detail in that one demo into an entire game, it would be insane.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see the tone of what this showcase is going to be, and so we're going to see something new, or I should say something old, like remastered.
Yeah,
So we're going to see, or we're going to see both. They'll give us here's a new Silent Hill, completely different. Also, here's something old to appease both. I think only got one chance. It's been it's so long now since we've seen true Team Silent game, and I think if they go in too strong with this is brand new, they might scare the old fans away. I think if they play it right, I think we'll see something from both angles, I think.
Yeah, hopefully the fact that this has taken so long to get to this point has been them very, very carefully making sure they've got all their eggs, I was about to say all their eggs in a row. That's mixing metaphors there. But yeah, so we'll have to see how true the leaks earlier in the year about it being both were and everything. So just again going back on the comments there, I think it was you, Retina, who said about you wanted the updated control system for people who didn't like tank controls, and just asking what your opinion on the camera system in Silent Hill is.
I guess if you're gonna remaster the original, try keep it to the fixed cameras like they had, I believe it was, or at least the panning style similar to Dino Crisis they had in 2, I think it was. Keep that same camera style, but give it the alternate controls like we had in the RE remake, and obviously other games like Tormented Souls that have allowed us to, just use one stick to move around. It feels like a good halfway house for you to experience that kind of limitation, but also not make it feel too modern. It just feels like the right balance, as it were.
Yeah. See, for me personally, like I always found if we got fixed cameras, tank controls are easier to use than modern controls because it's just far too easy to like the camera angle changes, and because you'd go in relation to the camera, your character just goes whoop 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 in a circle.
Yeah.
And then next
funny
thing,
though, when you're panicking, though, really funny, just running in circles.
Yeah, I do that bad enough when I panic in horror games. Well, in games in general, I suppose, as it is, just run around and make stupid mistakes without the controller working against me as well.
Yeah, the controller's not supposed to be your friend though in those games.
Well, it could be. It could be nicer too.
That's wishful thinking right there. That's not going to happen.
Be interesting to see, obviously, with Resident Evil going back and updating their games to doing multiple perspectives, having you fixed, then having you. It'd be interesting to see if they could do that with the control scheme as well.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I think it seems to be the standard to have like the option between the two nowadays if there's a fixed camera thing. So hopefully.
Yeah.
It obviously depends exactly what they're doing, but the other thing I think I'll be interested to see is how much they kind of take inspiration from Capcom and Resident Evil in terms of, the way Capcom have obviously, once they revived the series, back in that survival horror direction with 7. They've kind of used a specific formula in terms of using the new game to inform the remake and vice versa, and using that to kind of build up the lore in the world, and that. And if the rumors are true of us getting a remake of, well, I think they said the remake of 2, which sadly leaves us still without a version of 1 on modern consoles. But even so, like whether they'll use those two like to kind of develop in tandem and then use that to define this, or whether they'll try and go in a different direction and do things purely for the sake of not being Resident Evil.
Yeah. But it's a hard one, because obviously at the time when Silent Hill came out, it's sort of similar in the way, obviously, to Resident Evil, and they went in tandem and worked sort of in a similar pace. I think it'd be silly for them to not sort of try and mimic how, like as you just said, then mimic the kind of new release informs the new remake, and so forth. You've got the first 4 games that will definitely, if they are going with remakes, got the first 4 such fan favorite games. It'd be silly not to do remakes of those.
Yeah. Obviously, there's kind of loads of different considerations in that, and how they remake, because that's the other big debate at the moment, isn't it? Like what classes? I think the Resident Evil, again, going back to Resident Evil, people almost expect the remake these days to be a reimagining in some sense, or whether I'm personally not sold on that approach. I think a remake being near enough 1-to-1 is the best way to do it if you are talking about bringing that original experience forward, and kind of, well, I still come back to Resident Evil 1 remake as the kind of definitive way of doing it, because there were additions, but there were no cuts, there were no real changes. It was all about taking that original experience and more of it. But we also know that like opinions on these are very sharply divided, so it will.
You can't really appease everyone, can you?
No, that's exactly right.
That's a real uphill struggle to please everyone, like you say, especially with the most recent 2 remakes we had for the Resident Evil franchise. Especially 3's been polarizing to. I won't go into, because you know my opinion on that already. But yeah, it's but 1 definitely is kind of the gold standard. It may not have been 100% perfect, but it was still amazing for what it is, and I still really enjoy it to this day. There's obviously a lot to talk about and remaking it again, but really that can hold out for way longer. But my curiosity here is obviously with Silent Hill. I mean, if they do decide to go down in a similar vein to like Capcom did, like start with a new entry and then go to a classic entry, like remaking perhaps 2 initially, but ideally we need the first one as well, because it just doesn't get much love, and I barely hear about it at all. It's always been 2 and 3 have been the main ones to focus on, and then nothing before and after that.
Yeah. I mean, it might be, there's something about like first entries in the series on the PlayStation. They seem to be the ones that kind of fall behind very quickly. But yeah, I don't think it makes sense to kind of just completely leave that stranded in 4 generations back at this point and not do that. So hopefully there will be some. If they are even if they are remaking 2 and the rumors are true about that, I think it will be good to kind of get something or some sort of acknowledgement of that original in some way, or shape, or form. I'm just waiting with bated breath for the actual transmission to start, because it's just flashed up. Thanks for tuning in. So
I'll say. Pending. What we are now, 7 minutes left.
Yeah, they usually start like a bit early with like a lead-in screen or something. So I suppose we'll hear the music coming through or whatever with that, and then it's just a case of It's like that last bit of kind of waiting till you're allowed to get out of bed on Christmas morning as a kid, and sort of like you can go now, see what's been left.
Yeah.
Worse, we were told to come out, but then we had to wait on the steps. It's an extra kind of tense moment. So you could leave your bedroom and then you had to watch the living room and wait until you were told to go in again.
Yeah.
We had a cruel family.
That's what we're doing now. We're waiting on the stairs, staring and hoping.
If we're going age order, I'm probably last right now. That's the rule we had.
So before it does start, have we got any more last minute kind of predictions or hopes about what we're about to see?
Being interested. Yeah, it's going to be how hard they're going to go for it. I think is it just going to be one game, or is it literally going to be it's everything we've got in the works? Because obviously there's multiple rumours of games being released in parts, brand new games, sort of thing. So obviously with Resident Evil Showcase, they tend to they do give us a lot of information. Especially the one for tomorrow, it was rumoured to be a lot of information.
Yeah,
I think
I've just refreshed the screen and the creepy music has started, so I'm just going to turn that down on the stream slightly just so it doesn't override your voice. There we go, that should be alright. Yeah, it does not actually showing anything, it's just we've just got fog. We're at the start, we've just stepped foot into Silent Hill. We're looking, all we can see is fog, we have no clue what lies ahead. Kind of, fitting, I suppose.
5 minutes left. It's about a 5-minute countdown, isn't it, when it starts?
Yeah. Oh no, I'll leave that muted on there actually for now. That's really distracting.
Is it very loud?
It's very loud. So I will. We'll obviously go to it once the actual thing starts.
Yeah.
4 minutes time. Let's say, yeah. We'll just go back to comments. Really do hope they remake one, as otherwise the only way you can play it is to pirate and emulate it. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I think because, although that's obviously an option for some people, it's not an option for everyone. And yeah, not having to spend money on a buggy port is always a good thing as well. So, well, fingers crossed, Matty, that you get exactly what you want. We are all hopeful, all rooting for it.
Willing it for you.
Yeah, it's been what now? 10 years since the last major Silent Hill game came out, back in 2012, I think it was. Unless there's been anything else since that I've forgotten about.
I think that was a Vita release as well.
So it's really not much in that gap. So this is kind of leaving them open for anything. They don't have to. I don't think generally they kind of follow along with any kind of specific story or characters like the RE series or a lot of kind of game franchises do. So it's all kind of almost standalone stories in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can get away with. I think they can get away with what they want as long as they keep the essence of it, make it foggy, give us some kind of. I think the one thing I wouldn't want them to do is do what Capcom have done lately and have an over reliance on stalker characters. I think maybe just something a little bit different, like rely on the atmosphere and the overall tension rather than just, oh crap, that guy's following me.
Yeah, picking like one mechanic and kind of relying on that too much is not necessarily the best.
No.
I wish I'd turned my light off. I just had a door slam. That's quite worrying.
Coming into our house.
No, I know someone else is here, but doesn't know when they slam the door like that. That's really kind of weird. I'd rather have the cat that's behind you right now.
So is the cat a Silent Hill fan as well? Or?
I'd still be happy to see the cat. Be impressed if you could do that.
Do it, Sanko? No.
No.
We may be able to. dive into this slightly because it looks like if you refresh the screen, or it gives you it's just up as a video, so we can just watch the whole thing. Rather than do it like the usual Premiere style. I don't know whether something's gone wrong for them. Or yeah, it says premiered 4 minutes ago, but it's letting me skip ahead through it. So it might be. I mean, this is going to be awkward because we'll have to make sure we're all on the same time stamp. Otherwise, it's going to go wrong. But we'll be watching ahead of each other. Hold on. There we go. I have got it paused and ready to go on like 18 milliseconds before it starts. So I think what we'll do is we'll switch over.
Okay.
Oh, no, we will switch over to the right screen. Just let me know when you guys are ready.
Okay. What happens?
Good to go.
Okay.
Have you got it up?
I'm ready.
Cool. Right, let's press play then. See what's on offer.
Could she really be here, waiting for me? Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
In my restless dreams, I see that town.
That answers your question about the cameras, or seems
Silent
to.
Hill.
I know what you are. I know why I needed you. But it's all over now. I don't need you anymore. I'm ready. Mary?
Well, pretty much as expected, but there we go. There it is.
Yes.
Oh, it's a PlayStation console exclusive as well.
Welcome to Silent Hill Transmission,
Does I think I'm
the
a little
show
bit
that
ahead
keeps
of
you
you.
informed about Silent Hill. My name is Selena, and I will be your
Keep lighting.
facilitator. Thank you very much for having me. And
サイレントヒルシリーズのプロデューサーを務める岡本元井です。今日はよろしくお願いします。まずはじめにサイレントヒル2の映像をご覧いただきました。そしてですね、より詳しくお伝えするために一緒にゲームを作っている人をお呼びしています。では早速ご紹介いたします。コンセプトアーティストの伊藤正弘さんです。
He's happy as
よ
well.
ろしくお願いし
よろ
ます。
しくお願いします。
See some fog.
改めまして岡本さん、
I'm
伊藤さ
digging the
ん、サイ
style
レン
of
ト
just
ヒル
standing
が
in
帰
the
ってく
fog
るん
to
ですね。
talk.
はい、そうなんです。
Yeah.
ファ
I
ン
like
の
the way
皆
they've
さん
kind
本
of
当
done
に
the
大変お待たせしました。
the looking down angle as well, so they're not just going just flat on all the time.
サ
They're
イレント
actually
ヒル2をリ
trying to
メイクいたし
experiment
ま
a
す。
bit more with the space they've
伊
got.
藤さんにお
Like
声
it
掛
now.
けしてからそろそろ
Ascension a bit extra mile with
いや
these kind
本
of
当長
productions.
かったですよね。でもこうして
Yeah.
このタイトルをまたこう再始動できるっていうそのタイミングを皆さんにお伝えできるっていうことに僕はすごく興奮しております。
伊藤さんの場合、ツイッターにもすごくファンの方がコメントされているので、もう隠してるのが大変だったんじゃないですか。
いやそうなんですよ。岡本さんに苦情されてましたからそのことに本当にファンからいろいろ質問されて、それをのらりくらりと交わすのが大変でして、
いや僕らもちょっと脇で見ていてちょっとドキドキしておりました。それでですね、サイレントヒルといえばもう一方、作曲家の山岡明さん。山岡さんとも一緒に作っているんですけれども、ちょっと本日はですね、残念ながらこの場に来られなかったのでビデオメッセージをお預かりしております。どうぞご覧ください。
山岡です。もう21年ですか、20年以上経った作品でリメイクという形でまた新しい作品としてですね蘇るということで、個人的にも僕的にもすごく嬉しく思っています。当時はいろいろチャレンジしようというか、ビデオゲームっていう中でも新しいものというか、今までにないものをテーマとしても作ろうみたいなところもあって、当時ディレクターがドストエフスキーの罪と罰を読んでくださいって言われて、何を作るんだろうなと。で、音楽ももちろんですけど、模索というか、すごいいろいろチャレンジしてた思いではあります。このタイトルであれば、新しい音楽っていうものを作り上げられるかなっていうのは、すごい感じてました。未だに20年経ってもですね、サイレントヒルっていうタイトルがみんなの心の中に残ってるっていうのは、僕はすごくやってよかったというか、本当にこの上ない嬉しさというか、気持ちでもあります。で、リメイクに関しても、またさらに新しい音楽性であったり、新しいチャレンジもそうかもしれないですし、従来のファンの方にもきちっと届けられる、心に刺さるサウンドデザインだったり、音楽だったり。もちろん、サイレントヒルを知らない、サイレントヒル2を知らないユーザーさんにとっても、その時、サイレントヒル2が初めて出た時のインパクトというか、衝撃というか、作れたらいいなと思っています。皆さんもぜひ楽しみにしていてください。
山岡さんありがとうございます。コナミのサウンドね、若いスタッフみんな山岡さんのことを尊敬しているので、みんなワクワクしながら一緒に仕事させていただいております。そしてですね、日本だけでなく制作チームについてのお話もさせてください。今回のサイレントヒル2はポーランドのホラーゲームのスペシャリスト、ブルーバーチームで制作しています。彼らからコメントと制作風景をいただいてますので、こちらもどうぞご覧ください。
Silent Hill 2 is a cult classic, and it's widely recognized as one of the best games ever made.
For many Bluebird team members, Silent Hill is the title which made them fall in love in horror games. This is why we approach our work with a great respect to original game.
To ensure that we are keeping this unique Silent Hill atmosphere intact, We are working closely with original creators such as Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamaoka.
We want Silent Hill 2 to make the same strong impression today that the original game did 21 years ago. While we want to achieve the same end result, players' expectations evolve over time, and certain things need to be modernized to have the same or similar effect. For example, that's why we went with the over-the-shoulder camera, so we can immerse players into the game world as much as possible.
We are creating a synergy where new or modernized mechanics and features actually support the original spirit of Silent Hill 2. Combining the old with the new is no easy task, but we believe we are on the right track.
To put it simply, our goal is to recreate everything what made the game a timeless classic, but give it a new form which will draw players even deeper into the foggy streets of Silent Hill.
すごいです。この現場からサイレントヒル2が生まれたんですね。
そうなんですよ。もう彼らは本当にホラーゲームとサイレントヒルが大好きで、コナミってサイレントヒルに関しては世界中のチームから毎年のように提案をいただくんですけれども、その中でも彼らは最もですね情熱的ですごく愛を感じました。
素晴らしい。
伊藤さんも一緒にポーランド行きましたよね。
はい、年の瀬の寒いポーランド行きましたね。
で何度も何度もねお酒を飲み、語り合い、
で岡本さんがねこう酔っ払って
そうですね一緒にもうお酒を飲みながらホラーゲームの未来、そしてサイレントヒルの未来について熱く語り、そしてゲームを一緒に作るということですね。ところでですね、先ほどの映像にもロゴが出ておりましたけれども、サイレントヒル2はプレイステーション5で発売予定です。そこでプレイステーション5の発売元のソニーインタラクティブエンターテインメントさんからもコメントをいただいております。ビデオメッセージをどうぞご覧ください。
Hello everyone, my name is Christian Svensson and I'm the Vice President of Global Third-Party Relations at Sony Interactive Entertainment. I'm extremely excited to hear about the announcement of Silent Hill 2. Congratulations, this is definitely a celebratory moment and we're looking forward to bringing Silent Hill 2 exclusively to PlayStation 5. Being huge fans of the franchise, our team at SIE feels fortunate and excited to support the revival of Silent Hill. Okamoto-san, we eagerly await hearing more about what's in store for this beloved franchise. Thank you again for your partnership.
応援ありがとうございます。サイレントヒルはプレイステーションとともに成長してきたシリーズです。プレイステーション向けに発売できて非常に嬉しいですね。
皆様のサイレントヒル2に寄せる期待がすごいですね。私自身サイレントヒル2の大ファンなので、もうお話聞いてるだけでますます楽しみになってきました。
ありがとうございます。ファンの皆様にはですね、本日からプレイステーション5のスターページもオープンしていますので、そちらの方もチェックしてみてください。よろしくお願いします。
そうなんですね。わかりました。ファンとしてすぐにチェックさせていただきます。それではこの回はこの辺りで、岡本さん、伊藤さん、ありがとうございました。
It seems to be a wish list.
私たちのいる世界も変わってきましたよ。
はい。このイベントはサイレントヒル2だけでは終わらないんです。今後は世界中の才能あふれるクリエイターたちとサイレントヒルの世界をさらに拡大していきます。
まだ続きがあるんですか？
はい。そしてその新しいビジョンの一つをお披露目することができるんです。ビデオの方をご覧ください。
Okay.
Why are you here? No, in this place. Why are you here? Here to be punished. That's good, I like it. You know what, I think you're right. I think we've done something so awful. We are stuck here in this place, being judged by these people. But for you, I think it's more than that. I think you're here for some other reason. And I don't want to be anywhere near you when you figure that out.
Hi, my name is John McKellen. I'm the creative director at No Code, and we are working on Silent Hill Townfall. I remember playing the original Silent Hill on PS1 back in 1999 and became a fan from that moment on. So for us to work on this game with our friends at Annapurna feels like an actual dream come true. It's a real honour for us to bring a new title to this series that both respects the source material, but also does something a little bit different with it. To say that Silent Hill has been an inspiration to No Code would be a massive understatement. Our previous two games, Stories Untold and Observation, both played with that same deep psychological horror. And at No Code, we're all about weaving that narrative and that experience into every aspect of our game design, our audio, our visuals, even our UI. So obviously the teaser trailer is just the beginning, and we can't show you any more just yet. We're going to be hard at work for a while, but we can't wait to come back in the new year and show you more. Until then, it might be worth watching that trailer again and see what you might have missed.
あの予告編には鳥肌が立ちました。期待もやっぱ高いんですけれども、これはどのようなきっかけで始まったんでしょうか。
はい、実はちょっとしたカリフォルニアでのランチミーティングから始まったんですよ。アンナプルナインタラクティブとノーコードの大ファンだったので、この絶好の機会を必ず成功させたいと思ってます。サイレントヒルの新作を一緒に作ってくれるこれ以上ないパートナーだと思ってます。
そうなんですか。この他にも新たなパートナーはいらっしゃるんでしょうか。
はい、まだ今日は言えないんですけれども、同様に素晴らしい才能を持ったチームと今後のパートナーシップを拡大していく予定です。
それは素晴らしいですね。タウンフォールが楽しみです。
ありがとうございます。ではタウンフォールの話はひとまずここまでにして、次の話題に移っていきたいと思います。
There's more.
お、次は何でしょう。
実はサイレントヒルはゲーム以外の展開もあるんです。ここではその情報をお伝えしていきます。
なるほど、また新しい楽しみが増えますね。ではここでアシスタントプロデューサー内藤瑠衣さんをお迎えして、その新たな展開について伺っていきましょう。内藤さん、お願いいたします。
サイレントヒルの IP 展開、クロスメディア展開を担当しています内藤です。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。内藤さん、今回はどんな情報をお持ちいただいたんでしょうか。
今回はですね、サイレントヒルゲームの復活のきっかけともなった映画化の話です。数年前にもともと作ってた映画のプロデューサーの方から最新作作りたいという提案をいただきました。監督は第1作の方を演出されたクリストフ・ガンズ氏が手掛けると。でさらにいいプロット、いい企画をいただいて、これはいい映画になるぞというところで進めてきました。ただですね、映画だけでいいのかというところもあって、これはゲームを復活させたいということもあって、隣にプロデューサーの岡本と一緒に、ゲームと一緒に復活する道のりを歩んできたという感じになります。
なるほど、素晴らしいですね。
ではここでそのプロデューサー監督2名から熱いメッセージいただいているのでご覧ください。
So the film is the reason for the games being revived. That's interesting.
I thought the games have been the priority, but the film's been there to been a good reason to revive it as well.
My return
100%.
A universe that I have touched in 2006, 15 years ago. The film was a great success, and we decided to go back to the best of his stories. I mean, Silent Hill 2. The film is the story of a young guy coming back to Silent Hill, where he has known a great love, and what he's going to find is a pure nightmare.
I have the chance of being very close with Christoph, and we together has achieved to convince Konami that there is a new version of Silent Hill that needs to be done, and they are 100% on board.
In the first Silent Hill, we were exploring a world, the world of this small town, completely closed into the mist. It was like being trapped into a Twilight Zone. But in the second game, the creator of the game have changed the rules, We were basically going back to Silent Hill, the same town, but we were looking this strange world entirely through the point of view of the hero we were playing.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
He realized that Mary is lost somewhere into this strange place.
At its core, it's also the idea of the myth of Orpheus. And whatever a man can go deep in hell to bring back the soul or the person he loved the most in his life.
So it's much more about psychological horror, even if we are going to find again all the same creature and the same strange terror sequence, something like that. But the first big interrogation and the first big terror is about ourselves. Are we mad?
That's the eternal question.
Are we saying to go back to Silent Hill to find this great love?
This one now has so many years from the first one that there is a clear idea from Christoph to make it modern, but also very true to the video game. And that's also what it is. We are also respecting the will of the author, the producers, and Konami into this adaptation. Christoph, it's really somebody that respects the work that has been done, but that also has his own vision. It nurtures the creative vision of the authors from the game, but with a different vision from a filmmaker. And both, they have created, I believe, something that has struck the minds of the fans.
Stop! Leave her alone!
The game of Silent Hill franchise were great artistic achievement, and I have a responsibility to transpose that on a big screen, you know.
Christoph is a real gamer. He has been immersed in this world.
That's why the first film was so well received by the fans of Silent Hill, because they felt that I was one of them, and it was so important for me to respect the original creation, you know. That was the base, the start of everything. Everything starts from this respect. So I'm going with a maximum of humility, a maximum of respect, but in the same time I have quite a charge, quite a goal, which is how to transpose the language of the game, which is entirely about immersion, into a tale, into a story that we can tell in 90 or 100 minutes.
The monsters are also one of the key elements that the fans are waiting for. And we are updating those in a way that the creation is similar, but they will be striking.
For me, one of my major goals in this film is how to redesign the classic monster of Silent Hill. I was talking about Red Pyramid, you know, this big guy with the helmet, you know. He's, again, in this one. Some of the creatures of the film of back in 2006 were very, very appreciated by the fan. But in the same time, for me, it was important to come back with surprise.
It's a new universe, it's a new challenge, and those are very important to bring these icons differently to the audience, because they want them to have that wow effect.
That's why, you know, I found a very interesting collaboration with the people of Konami. They helped me a lot to achieve this new design of the monster, because they are also working on new episodes for the franchise of Silent Hill.
The younger audience, they want that collective experience. They want to be with their friends. They want to talk about it, but they want also to live that experience together.
We all know that watching an horror film alone at his home is quite different of being into a big theater with a crowd and everybody jumping at the same time. It's very different.
We are modernizing, we are giving him what the audience of today is really wanting. We are trying to do as much as possible, creating a new experience for that audience. Could be more immersive, interactive, and we have now new technologies, but we still have what makes the best is the story. And this story is at the core of it. So we hope that Return to Silent Hill will be a great return.
And if we want to keep the link with the audience, you know, we have to be perfectly aware that everything has changed in 15 years. Everything has been washed away, you know. We have to bring back something, you know, very surprising.
プロデューサー監督ありがとうございました。
ゲームを映画に負けないように頑張っていこうと思ってます。映画とゲーム両方を最高のクオリティにしてファンにお届けしたいと思ってます。
もうファンとしては両方とも本当に楽しみです。内藤さん、映画もゲームもまだまだこれからだと思うんですけれども、今後の予定などってお聞きすることってできますでしょうか。
さっきの映像の中にもあったと思うんですけど、すでに絵コンテとかイメージボードとかあるんですけど、実は撮影とかキャスティングはまだこれからなんですね。今後いろいろ映画の方も山場がいっぱいあると思うんで、こちらの方もゲームと一緒にいい作品になるように進めていきたいと思ってます。
ありがとうございます。映画も楽しみです。この配信をご覧の皆さんもぜひ楽しみにお待ちくださいね。それではこの回もそろそろ。内藤さん、岡本さん、ありがとうございました。From here, I would like to share with you some of Silent Hill related items that will help you enjoy the game even more. Here is the first one we would like to introduce. From get-go, you all very know, 1/6 scale statue of Red Pyramid Thing is coming. Thoroughly supervised by the art director and the monster designer of Silent Hill 2, Masahiro Ito, all details are brushed up. You can even see the details we couldn't express because of the video game spec at the time. The base capturing the scaffold can be connected and you can recreate the scene of the final fight against 2 Red Pyramid Things. Up next, James Sunderland 1/6 scale statue. The realistic sculpture perfectly captures James's exhaustive facial expression. Not only the handgun, but also the wooden plank, the steel pipe, and the great knife pairing up with Red Pyramid Thing can be held in his right hand. At his feet, health drinks are tossed away. Maria from Silent Hill 2 is also coming as a 1/6 scale statue. It is the very first official statue of Maria with the high quality and beautiful details. The right hand is interchangeable with a hand holding the gun, which appears in the sub-scenario Born from a Wish. Last but not least, the secret ending of Silent Hill 2, Inu End, is also recreated as a 1/6 scale coin bank statue. The diorama statue will remind you of the last scene where James collapsed to his knees and say, "So it was all your work." From here, we will introduce some products from the official Konami shop. First, Silent Hill board collection. We made a collection that encapsulates all that horror and eeriness, featuring legendary characters from the first 4 installments of the franchise. These hand-numbered limited decks are now available for pre-order. In the official Konami shop, all these products are now available. Please check it out. Here is further information about Silent Hill goods. From Crazy Rock, 1/6 scale fully articulated collectible figures of Red Pyramid Thing and Bubblehead Nurse are coming. They are high quality and fully articulated. From Good Smile Company, Pop-Up Parade Bubblehead Nurse is coming with affordable prices. Pop-Up Parade is a series of figures that are easy to collect. Each figure typically stands around 17 to 18 centimeters in height.
Probably says something that was
Bedrock
the only one where they said it's got affordable prices.
And Maria Elevator Chase diorama is coming. This statue diorama captures a moment in time as Red Pyramid Thing readies to swing his great blade while Maria attempts to run away and reach the elevator in time with her outreached hand. This diorama will be coming soon to the Bedrock Collectibles website. Konami is proud to present all these items on Silent Hill e-commerce page. Don't miss it and secure your order.
There was no mention of other country releases yet, so probably won't find that out for a few months.
Now the scene has changed and we have our next guest. Our next guest is Jacob Navok. Jacob, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jacob Navok and I'm the CEO at Genvid.
Jacob, what will you be presenting this time?
I'm going to show you a new kind of Silent Hill, an experience that you haven't seen up until now.
A whole new experience. What is it all about? Please take a look at this video for hint. Well, this is going to be another world of Silent Hill. Jacob, could you please introduce your project?
For over 20 years, Silent Hill has haunted my memories. And lately, I enjoy watching streamers playing Silent Hill with their fans. We love the feeling of being scared together, of experiencing fear with friends. It's why watching horror films in the theater is so fun. Silent Hill Ascension takes that feeling of communal fear to a massive scale. It's a live, real-time interactive series where millions of fans will watch together as the chilling story unfolds. You can change its outcomes and even be a part of scenes. There is no reset button. Decisions that you make mean life or death in the story. It's your chance to shape Silent Hill canon forever. Silent Hill Ascension is brought to you by Genvid, Bad Robot, Behavior, and DJ2, and goes live in 2023. Sign up at Ascension.com for updates.
I'm so excited about this new world of Silent Hill. Here are some messages we received from two important partners in the project. Before we look at the messages, could you please introduce them?
Today we're going to hear from Bad Robot as well as Behavior.
I see. Okay, first things first. I would like to read a message from director J.J. Abrams.
Genvid's experience presents a wild, epic, and innovative new way to immerse yourself in the horrors of Silent Hill.
Next, please watch the message from the art director of Bad Robot and the creative team of Behavior Interactive.
I'm Chris Amaral from Bad Robot Games and art director for Silent Hill Ascension. Our approach to Silent Hill Ascension is to ensure we maintain the tone and the feeling that the fans have come to love from the franchise, while also adding our own twist of an oppressed, tormented, and morose dimension of reality. Silent Hill creatures are often manifested projections from the darkest depths of the main characters' minds. In Silent Hill Ascension, we build off of this. Our creatures are inspired by the personal traumas and internal demons of our characters' past lives. We want the art style to be a fresh take on the brand, while still being equally respectful to where we've been before.
In 2021, we released The Executioner and the survivor Cheryl Mason in Dead by Daylight. Today, Behavior once again will dive into the world of Silent Hill, but with a completely new experience. Here's Chris, VP Creative of our service division, to tell you all about it.
Everyone at Behavior is excited to announce our collaboration with Genvid on Silent Hill Ascension, in a new form of entertainment that blends community, live storytelling, and interactivity. Silent Hill Ascension takes you and the entire community on a unique interactive storytelling experience where the decisions you make affect the characters and the world. Those decisions become canon, and there's no reset button. This is a whole new chapter for Silent Hill, with new characters and frightful monsters, where the stakes couldn't be more real. We're thrilled to be working with the talented teams at Genvid, Bad Robot, and DJ2 to bring Silent Hill Ascension to life. Look for it to go live in 2023 and sign up at Ascension.com for updates.
I can see the new charm of Silent Hill. The fun only gets better. Jacob, what do you think of the two message videos?
I am thrilled to work with these incredible teams. Together, we're going to revolutionize what horror means in interactive media.
That's fantastic. We are excited too. I hope everyone watching this distribution is eagerly awaiting this new Silent Hill. I am sure you will not be disappointed. Thank you, Jacob, for sharing your fascinating title with us today. Thank you for your time, Jacob.
Thank you very much.
また場所が変わりましたね。岡本さん、これはどういうことでしょうか。
はい。実は最後にもう一本サイレントヒルの完全新作の発表があります。我々が自信を持って送り出す新しいサイレントヒルです。
Thank you very much. Finally, we will leave you with that completely new video. Thank you for watching Silent Hill Transmission.
well.
Wow.
Round of applause. That went hard.
You say. Yep.
That was I didn't expect to be so much. It's quite a lot to take in, really.
I think that's gonna be the thing. We'll be digesting this for quite some time.
Yeah, I suspect so. I suspect so. Hold on, let me just fix the volume level slightly. Mute Chrome. Yeah, it's just because you both seem to have gone a little bit quiet.
Okay.
So, I think we'll go through each of the individual kind of things in a sec, but if we want to start with general overall kind of reaction to all of that and sum it up in a sentence.
They needed to do that, I think, is the couldn't have just come out with here's a game. That's it. Literally, it's like a roadmap for at least 3-4 years what we're going to see. And yeah. He's the old fans with Silent Hill 2 remake. Giving us a whole load of new. So they're giving us a new movie as well, so
yeah,
this is pretty much there.
That's just, I mean, even knowing it was 40 minutes, and I was still surprised by how much stuff was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you then.
Oh no, it's all right. No, it would have. Would it have been good to see a tiny bit of gameplay? I don't know. I think I would have loved to have seen a bit of gameplay. Any of the games, to be honest. But it'll be interesting to see how they pull off Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, it's like you say, if it had to be summed up in one sentence, I'd say it's basically they delivered. I think that's been worth 10 years worth of waiting. I mean, for me, it's giving me personally a chance to play 2 fully and on a modern console. I mean, obviously it's currently limited to the PS5, but I think there was a subtitle tag saying it's going to be on PC after a year after release. I might have just imagined that out of hope, but
It said console exclusive, so that usually just means it's not on Xbox. I think it'll still be on PC.
Definitely, it's on PC.
Cool. So there'll be that, which should be great to do. I mean, like you said, the film announcement was good. Return to Silent Hill looks really good so far, even just from the storyboards. Looks great. I'm really most intrigued by Silent Hill Ascension, the concept of basically watching it as a collective and determining the outcome of the canon, and that it can't be undone. It's like they're trying to do like the Black Mirror kind of what was it, Jabberwocky kind of series that they did. But in this case, they can't go back and change their decisions. What you decide is final. I'm curious to see what that's going to turn out like, and it's basically, you're basically leaving the story in the hands of the fans, and it's very rare that's been done. And obviously, there's been a couple of examples, like the story of Jason Todd in the Batman comics and his outcome, stuff like that. But I'm really interested to see how they're going to handle that one, and if it's going to be, quite successful. I'm hoping it is. I mean, it might open up to more kind of media like that.
Yeah.
And from Silent Hill F, the art sequence alone, that was incredible. I'm loving that.
Yeah.
It seems to, that Ascension seems to be similar to like the next level, like a supermassive game, like the likes of Until Dawn and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of thing I thought of with that when they were saying about everyone making the choices is kind of not just like one of the games like Until Dawn, like you say, but like, because he mentioned watching people play games as streaming. I think they've taken that inspiration from like, so like if a streamer's playing a game like that and then lets their own audience pick what choices they make, whether it's going to be something like that kind of makes me think, because I have done that before with funny and disastrous results. I think like Detroit Become Human was one of the ones where like I ended up getting the worst possible ending because I let people who were watching choose what I did. So yeah, but at the same time, like if the are they going to do it in episodes? So like the decision is the next episode, because presumably they won't develop the choices that people aren't going to make.
Yeah, because I don't think everyone will be able to sit there for however long this will be. It might be like a TV series sort of length, like a 30-minute, 40-minute parts.
Yeah. Can't see them having too many choices. There'll be probably only maybe 2 different outcomes in the whole thing every time. So they're not going to go mental and just give us so many things. It's got to be something that they're going to have to manage and have a quick turnaround on. But regardless, even if it is quite limited in its scope, I think it's going to be a unique concept that's going to help the franchise overall more.
Yeah. And it is something completely new, because when I think before they mentioned exactly what they were doing, when it sort of like the initial stuff, for some reason I thought, oh, are they going to make a VR game like in the same way that we've got the a lot more VR stuff seems to be coming out at the moment, but obviously they chose to go in a different direction than that. But yeah, I think it will be very interesting to see when we get more details about how it's going to work exactly and what that means. And then whether this is going to be like a kind of flash in the pan one-off novelty, or whether this is going to be something that all the games are going to take and go, yeah, we could do this.
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely one to watch. I think that's what all the other studios will be like now. It's very intriguing, and it's definitely unheard of. It's going to be it'll be a big step for them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of ones to watch, I mean, we're taking these not in the order they were announced, but I think the conversation's going in that way. Obviously, Will, you were like the most excited for film announcements and hoping for a lot more from that, and we didn't get a full trailer, obviously, or any kind of like date, because they said they're still in the process of casting. But with what we've got, I mean, it seems to me like that they're at least loosely adapting Silent Hill 2, which makes sense given the announcements of the remake. Kind of those two things coming in tandem, because obviously one feeds into the other, and hopefully pulling audiences towards both. But
yeah, it's because it's obviously the first 2 films are heavily linked with one. So sort of want to try and not carry on from that story, really. We've sort of experienced that story now. We need to experience it completely different, and that's what Silent Hill 2 did with 1 when it released in game form. Completely different. And yeah, as you said, that's what said at the very end of the film segment was we needed something 100% new, make it different, and yeah, it was a good decision to go with that.
The other thing that caught my eye about it, I mean, well, caught my ears, I suppose. I don't know whether like I missed it into, but he did say something about working on multiple. There was some reference to working on multiple projects in terms of like adaptations towards the end.
So, yeah.
Hinting towards maybe a continuation if it's successful, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had that said a couple of times with previous film series, or even just one-offs, where they've said they're hoping it will lead into another one down the line, depending on how successful it is. But I think because we've been Silent Hill fans have been so starved for over a decade now, I think they will just eat it up, and just the sheer number of people that will want to see this, regardless of the critical kind of reception it gets, I think it could span at least one more kind of entry to go with that film, perhaps a third at a push.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of wondering whether he meant they're going to develop some sort of TV thing as well, but I mean that's obviously
never know.
Kind of thing. That's maybe what the Ascension thing's probably going to cover maybe not in the same traditional sense, but I think that's going to fill that slot, as it were.
Although I mean, I know obviously Silent Hill fans have been starved for a long time, as you said, and whereas Resident Evil fans have basically been spoon-fed like yearly, but at the same time, from sort of the movie and kind of the way he was talking about it, and particularly talking about wanting to stay faithful to it, but also being like, need to translate it to the language of film from the language of games, because the difference, and talking about his own experience of gaming, I can't help kind of feel a little bit envious in the sense of that That's sort of given everything that we got in terms of the Paul W.S. Anderson stuff, and then like kind of the Johannes Roberts one where he made a big point of saying that he was a fan of the games, but then it was turned out it was like because he'd watched Let's Plays rather than played it himself or stuff. And I'm sort of thinking, I mean, it's good that we should have more stuff that genuinely kind of takes inspiration from someone who understands and knows what the story means to be able to translate it. Oh, have we lost Will?
Yeah, I think we just got him back again. Not sure.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We just can't see it.
Yeah. Hold on.
Did the cat do something to the camera feed again?
Don't know. Something fell, and I don't know if it's pulled something or. Try. Try that. Back.
Yeah, we got you back.
There we go.
There we go.
You are no longer just a little green Discord logo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I think it's always positive to see, like, kind of directors and creatives out who can kind of acknowledge what it needs to be and recognizing that translating from one medium to the other doesn't mean just completely butchering a thing and changing it into something else.
Yeah.
So, and I'll confess I haven't seen the original 2 films, but you said they were quite good.
Yeah, definitely. I'd highly recommend them.
I guess in the terms of between Resident Evil and Silent Hill, I guess probably the Silent Hill films pretty much surpass what Resident Evil did.
Yeah, they've kept very close to the story and that kind of thing. They've not tried to deviate as much, but also add a little bit in. Yeah, no, it's everything's perfect to me. Like I really enjoy them. And I actually heard it's quite popular for the fans. So
yeah,
if you've not seen them, highly recommend catch them. It's the right season as well.
They're definitely going to be on the watch list. But yeah, I've got to confess I've not heard any like bad words about them compared to other stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, any more thoughts? Or I suppose the other thing, if they're still casting, that's the only other kind of question that any kind of people from you'd like to see in the film from the current sort of crop of actors, particularly anyone who does horror, but I suppose even wider than that. Assuming we don't get like a kind of Chris Pratt star in it.
Oh, can you imagine?
Why? But I get the urge to see Cillian Murphy do something, and him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a bit of an odd choice, but we've seen the closest he's got to horror is playing Scarecrow in Batman Begins. But
yeah, well, 28 Days Later, it's iconic.
Yeah, curious to see how he'd handle Silent Hill, even as like a side character that rather than a lead. I think it'd just be an interesting one to throw in there.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, we will have to see.
It was all right. You loved it. Yeah.
So thank you very much for liking the stream. Just very much appreciate it. So from the film obviously is going towards it's the Silent Hill 2, and we've got a remake of that now. As we were discussing beforehand, they're going towards the over-the-shoulder, more modern control camera and everything else, which isn't surprising, but I think obviously it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. I think it just is the way that things happen now. That's just the kind of the standard to do.
Yeah, it does feel like the default option for a lot of games lately has become over the shoulder. It's become I don't want to say the easiest one to go for, but it's almost like
most accessible.
Yeah, the most accessible, and I guess the general consensus among gamers is that over the shoulder is just generally the better way to play.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like a daft hope to hope for the fixed camera, kind of tormented souls, RE remake style again. But I'd settle for that for the over the shoulder, as long as they can maintain the atmosphere and not rely too much maybe on jump scares.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can't tell a lot from graphics alone, but it does look very good in that sense, like in terms of how everything looks. Even the fog, which obviously was originally a technical limitation, kind of just because we can't show, but they can obviously show a lot further now. But I think that works to the credit of the fog from the pictures and the video we saw of like kind of seeing those hints of buildings sticking out and everything else. It does look very atmospheric. I mean, and the characters obviously everything looks kind of as you'd expect for the current gen games. But then the other thing, which is I think the thing once when it was first leaked, and the fact that it's being developed by Bloober Team, that was probably the thing that had a lot of people kind of, I don't know if cynical is the right word, but cautious about it.
Just understandable.
Because I'm trying to think if I've actually played anything by Bloober Team just from like the.
Have you played the Medium?
Not yet. It's on PS Plus, so I'm gonna try it at some point. But
yeah.
It's that version of Blair Witch they did as well.
Yes, Blair Witch. Yeah.
I'm cheating. I'm just looking through their games library.
Is it Layer of Fear? Was that one of theirs?
Layers of Fear, because they're bringing out Layers of Fears. Is it the new one that was announced on?
Yeah, there's Layers of Fear, and then there's Layers of Fear 2.
Yeah, they're highly recommended.
And then there's Layers of Fear Legacy, apparently. So technically, there's 3 separate entries on here. There's also been quite a few. Yeah, there's. I think some of them are remakes as well, by the looks of it. I mean, the next one is Layers of Fears that's out next year.
Yeah. Oh, that looks great from trailers.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And it just popped up in the comments saying it looks pretty good on Unreal as well. Which, I mean, obviously Unreal 5 now is that's almost standard if you've got a dev who knows what they're doing to make something look fantastically gorgeous. But
yeah, well, apparently it's very easy to develop with as well, so it might speed up the process.
Yeah, so I think the only thing will be to see how the mechanics and everything work in it. But yeah, I mean, I can, despite the cautiousness, I'm kind of, at least from what we got there, there's nothing that jumps out as giving me reason to go, to do a double take. Everything kind of looks positive, I think.
Yeah. No, it's more raises more questions. I want to find out more about some of them, especially like Townfall and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know we saw very little of what it's about, but the Silent Hill F one that really intrigued me. I mean, the style of it was very, very unique. I'm really enjoying it, even though it was pretty much an FMV. It's got me more curious than the others. I mean, too, we pretty much know what we're getting in that direction roughly, which besides how the gameplay is going to work from the mocap that we saw. And it's really been kind of F and Ascension have been the 2 mystery ones. The film, we've got a rough idea, and we know that's extremely early stages.
Yeah.
But how deep they are into F so far, I'm really curious what that's going to be and how they're going to, develop on that one.
Yeah. And it's a completely different setting as well compared to all the previous Silent Hill games, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it's gone more kind of, I guess, rural Japan is probably the way I describe it. It's gone. It's not gone like the others, which was more like, westernized town kind of setting. So it's good to see something that's not kind of primarily, Midwestern town like Raccoon City and Resident Evil, or generic kind of town covered in fog in Silent Hill. It's just good to see that different style, and it didn't feel as, I guess, not as foggy as the others as well. It felt like you were trying to see more, but then what you did see, you didn't want to see in the first place. Some of it was quite horrific. I mean, the moment that face dropped off, that shocked me.
Yeah.
That was a clever one.
Oh, it's a good
was expecting the stereotypical pair of red eyes to appear, but that really caught me off guard.
Yeah, or jump into the camera sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because it feels like I was trying to look for like if someone had put a list up already of like everything that was announced, because I feel like there was so much there that it kind of hard to keep track of.
I tried to do some bits. Let's have a look on what did I post?
I got to about 4 and then my brain lapsed. I think I probably missed something somewhere, I'm not sure.
Because we got, as well as F, we got Townfall, and then we got which was basically just the kind of the portable telly, weird crackling and stuff.
Yeah, that looked extremely real, so that made me question whether that was just a very high-end FMV or if this was something more in the vein of, say, the Ascension thing, where it's going to be more like a series or something else.
Yeah.
I did think for a split second, is this their take on having like a remake of the first one, but then that was dashed.
Yeah. Still nothing for the no love for the first one still, which is sad.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They might go all weird and all Star Wars and do it out of order, go 2, 3, and 1.
Maybe. Yeah, because 3 is very highly sought after. So
yeah, I think that was the first one I ever tried.
Yeah.
And then what was the name of this is how much content there's of. What was the name of after they announced 2? They announced obviously the next entry in the series before we got Townfall and the other stuff we got.
Wasn't that Return to Silent Hill was introduced after 2?
Yeah.
That was the film.
Yeah, I thought we went kind of game, film, Townfall, Ascension, and then F. I'm surprised though that we've got basically about 5 different projects announced across game and film.
Yeah.
That's quite a significant portion, but then they have had 10 years to build up to this as well, so would have expected nothing less.
Yeah, it depends how long they've had them in developments. Like some of them are obviously a lot further along than others. And then although it's interesting that the film, from what they were saying, the film development or pre-production inspired them to bring back the games, and yet the Silent Hill 2 remake looks, I mean, obviously we haven't got a date yet, but it's up to like wish list, and that's like, which is whereas the film still hasn't even like cast it main characters yet.
No. Well, all the rumors started coming that there's a new game coming in 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
3 years.
It's had 3 years in development. So I'm guessing Silent Hill 2 will be mid next year, I think. I'd say.
Yeah, that seems a pretty decent development cycle as far as that goes to get everything in. Especially because it's not one of those modern games where it's like 80 hours long or anything. It's
no.
Fairly compact in that sense.
I'm curious though, with the 2 remake as it is, are they gonna end up going like the other remakes we've seen, obviously in RE, where they've trimmed it down a little bit, or are they gonna play it safe and keep most of it and just expand on it? I'm kind of hoping the latter, especially with the extra endings that they had in 2.
Yeah, I think if there's any cuts, it'll be just to make it less seamless, if you know what I mean. You know, make the game flow better. I don't think they'll intentionally think anything out. And as you say, I think they'll probably expand on it, because I think if they go in and start taking stuff out, the fans will kick off properly.
Yeah, I think they've got to be conscious of that, haven't they? Like in terms of with the leaks, there's no way they can kind of not seen the reception to the rumors and everything else, and kind of, and also the reception to obviously Resident Evil's remakes and what people liked and what caught their ire and all that sort of stuff. And throughout they were very careful to say like how respectful they were of the original material, and then like bringing in two of the developers from the original Silent Hill 2, I think they mentioned, or two of the
it's two of
people
Team
involved.
Silent. Yeah.
So obviously we won't know till we see the thing, but it sounds like they're being very careful to not make those kind of mistakes and missteps.
Yeah.
I think I heard that the full team of the original, what they call Team Silent, who developed those first sets of games, are in the team developing new games within these new games now. So we've got a good stand there.
Yeah, it's as I say. I mean, everything kind of was just like really good, really positive to see. It's not just how much was in there and how many projects there, but I think every single one of them in its own right clearly had like a lot of care and attention put towards it.
Yeah.
They all felt unique as well. There was nothing that just felt like they just repeated it for the sake of just filling up the catalogue, as it were. Everything just felt like it had its own kind of reason for you to want to see what it's going to be. I mean, now that we've actually remembered that there was a fifth thing in that list, that Townfall one's now got my attention, because I'm starting to remember like the where they filmed it, like the waves coming in. That was really getting me curious now, along with obviously F, but really more curious now that we know so little about Townfall.
Yeah, there was a couple of flashes on that screen, and there was some. I think it was some sort of creatures and stuff. It looked quite gruesome. So it'd be interesting to go back and get some stills and see what actually appears on there.
Oh yeah.
Try and find out some more. No. Everything. It was just the right amount of information to not literally just spill everything. Give you enough to want to know more.
Yeah, I think the sheer quantity of stuff they were showing as well, it is kind of forcing us to go back and look again, because even we forgot how many things were shown in the first place.
Yeah.
I think that's something they've done quite well, is actually not overload us so much, but make us more curious that we have to go through this even more than we want to.
Yeah.
It's kind of off topic a little bit, but I'm also kind of a fan of like the way they presented it, not just in terms of obviously they had the whole green screen set and all the like the fog and stuff, but there was that whole little bit in the middle where they just talked about I think it was the film where he mentioned like, no, it wasn't the film, it was one of the games that they mentioned like that it came about because he had lunch in like California or something, and they were just sort of chatting as if we weren't there, and it just, but like it was just weirdly funny, whereas like especially by comparison to like the Summer Game Fest stuff where they'd done like these like scripted like little interviews which felt really cringeworthy, it just kind of felt like the proper like this is their moment. They're cut in the sun, and like they've been waiting for this for a long time, and they're very like know exactly what they're giving everyone, and is to give everyone exactly what they want, pretty much.
It does feel like they have that little
charming
bit of freedom.
Yeah, I don't think they were reading off an auto cue. It was just a case of just chatting amongst friends. Obviously, they had to mention whatever was on show, but as you say, those little bits came out.
It's almost like they were kind of given like some key things to put in there, but then they were told, okay, interact a little bit, try stay on topic and don't deviate too much, and it felt more natural. I didn't feel like it was just like if I was reading to the camera right now, like hello, this and this, it just felt better. It's good to see that kind of natural conversation coming between them.
Yeah. Oh, on the I know we're bouncing around a bit, but just coming back to Silent Hill F, the developers for that apparently are the ones behind RE-verse.
Yeah, wasn't it Neobards Entertainment?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think they did Resistance originally, but I think they probably are doing RE-verse as well. So, look. I've got them down as working on Resistance, but they did do work on Omnishima, the HD collection.
Yeah.
so I can never pronounce that one properly. It's probably why I've never played it. I can't find it.
Oh, Onimusha. No, Onimusha series is amazing.
Yeah,
Onimusha.
Another one
that's
to play.
classic.
Yeah.
I would have been getting it wrong.
No, it's so that'll be interesting then if that's some sort of multiplayer type. That'd be.
I mean the library's not been a lot of multiplayer. It's just in the last year or so. Obviously,
Yeah.
Resistance and RE-verse, if that's what they are working on, is been their latest ones. But they have obviously done other stuff like obviously the ports of Devil May Cry. But this could be their first chance of working on something that isn't a multiplayer for a change.
Yeah.
It just does feel like a fresh entry, and there wasn't really much of a hint of multiplayer. But we did only see a short FMV.
Yeah, the only other thing we know is that the Ryukishi 07 was the guy who's written it. Who's apparently an author of like a visual novel series, When They Cry. So whether that speaks to the style of storytelling and like the visual novel stuff, obviously being quite big in Japan and everything anyway, like that, whether we're going to see something that strays into that sort of territory.
Yeah, it almost lends itself to that though. I think Silent Hill.
Yeah, I did get kind of like Fatal Frame vibes from it for a second when I first saw it as well. So maybe this is kind of like maybe more towards Ryukishi's style of storytelling, but also a very, very subtle Easter egg to that as well in a way.
Yeah. I think it's seems like they're open to like doing as many, not only different projects but also different types of project. I mean, especially if the interactive medium of like the type that everyone chooses and it becomes canon and all that sorts of stuff, which is in its own right. But obviously, it's already an anthology series anyway, so kind of pushing it from so that it's an anthology series with multiple styles of game and that kind of thing might be something that they're trying to do. And
yeah, there's so many avenues that they can go into, obviously, because we've been in a 14-year drought of any sort of Silent Hill media. Could effectively just drop it into every single one, and the fans would lap it up. So
it does feel like a case of just try a bit of everything and see what sticks. But then it might be the case that every project works really well. There might be some that maybe not do quite as well. I mean, Silent Hill 2 is pretty much a dead cert, I think.
Yeah, that's just printing money, that.
But F is, I think he's going to end up being a pretty new concept, perhaps, for the series instead of like the more fog kind of design we're used to, and that this seems to be much more open and kind of. Well, I don't quite know how to describe it. When you got all that kind of floral kind of moment, that was quite an unusual style for Silent Hill in general. That was we're so used to kind of the grim fog and kind of grimy kind of industrial kind of horror kind of vibes. So this is a very unique direction to take Silent Hill in as well. So yeah, it's got my curiosity on that side, definitely.
Because as you said, it was if they've developed Onimusha and they've ported Devil May Cry, could see Silent Hill maybe potentially hack and slash sort of type of game.
Could be. It looked like
a different type. Could imagine a character dragging that pipe could sort of and start doing some other things. So
yeah, there was a hint of speed on her as well, so that could be kind of like a very subtle hint to the hack and slash style. Maybe not to the pace that we're used to. Maybe a bit more of a slow, but maybe kind of one that requires a bit more tactics rather than just brute force, I think.
Yeah, that's basically Onimusha. That was using different types of elements, with your different weaponry to take on different enemies, do different damage. So
not something I would have expected to see being Onimusha and Silent Hill is almost like a hybrid, which is what this could potentially be, which would be a very unique kind of style to look at.
Aye. Trying to think if there's anything else on there to kind of draw out from it, because there's probably, I mean, I suspect as time goes on, as you said earlier, we're about to kind of continuing to digest this over time. That's going to be a thing. The other kind of part of it as well, I suspect is going to be, there's going to be a lot of videos and stuff analysing all the little details, all the little tiny Easter eggs and things that we missed, and we could go through. So that will be interesting to see. But beyond the general kind of, I think, glad that we got this as a showcase and that we got all this, and like in terms of what's coming out of it, generally like very happy and intrigued about a lot of it. I don't think there's anything else specific that I want to draw out of it personally, but I don't know whether there's any other details, like things that you kind of thought of that we've not already touched on or want to talk more around.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was the section about the merchandise bit there. To show the range of statues was actually really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, again, at the time, but there was a lot there to pick from.
Yeah, because it was announced there was a store opened on the YouTube. It's called Sweet Factory.
Yeah,
and it opened up, but you couldn't access it yet. But I've just had a quick look, and they've got literally everything, apparel, all brand new. Some had added to the official Konami shop.
At least this doesn't feel like kind of a attempt to bring Silent Hill back and just see how it happens with the games and the film only. This feels like they're going all out on this one. They're really trying to revive it and go in with all the effort they can. This is kind of a promising sign.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not just a quick cash in. You've seen that they've put the investment into the whole future and build the franchise back.
Yeah, the fact they've given us such a decent range of statues to pick from with the 3 characters, even the dog from the weird ending from 2. That was quite a funny but surprising one to see in there.
There's actually on the website there's a plush version of him.
Oh god,
that'll be gone by now. I bet
that'll be pretty much gone. Then people have to make up their own versions on Etsy by now.
Yeah, no, that's gone.
Yeah, it was interesting to see, but I was also, as I was looking at those statues and stuff, just thinking, absolutely none of them are going to be within my price range.
No, but they only released the yen price for now. They didn't show any other countries or when their release was yet. So
I had a look. And the postage.
Might be the case. End up ordering from Japan if you want to get them early, and depending on like the shipping and all that. But it's probably going to be another few months down the line until we find out more detail on that. Or at least closer to the release of whatever project comes first, whether it be Silent Hill 2 or F or Townfall, or whichever comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect that Silent Hill 2 Remake is going to be the first one we actually see land with a date.
I think so. That's not far off.
Yeah, it's weird to think that not a single project was given a date yet, but then they did say that a lot of those were still in kind of the infancy, as they put it.
Yeah.
But 2 seems to be the most kind of rounded off at the moment, even though we didn't really get much. But we hardly got anything on the gameplay front apart from a bit of mocap wireframe skeletons having a bit of a tussle. That was kind of really it. But I'd say 2 is a pretty good one to say that's going to come out first. The film's probably still another year and a half off for now.
Yeah. You've got such big releases now between now and like March, up until like Resident Evil 4 Remake releases.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll come any time then. So I think it'll probably May, September time between there.
I'd say it'd probably try avoid competing with the 4 remake. I think I wouldn't blame
100%.
them. I mean, same goes with the Dead Space remake as well.
Yeah, the biggest horror games of next year are going to be remakes of classics. Yeah,
crazy.
I guess in one way to look at that is it's a bit disheartening that like you say, the most recent releases that are going to come out are going to be remakes, and the original content isn't kind of coming out as frequently as such. It's more the remakes have been the focus. I mean, for Silent Hill, it's understandable. They need to start with something familiar before they start something new. And again, Dead Space, that's been pretty much dormant since 3 came out, so that needed another remake. And well, to be honest, Resident Evil. I think it's just a case of timing between all of them. In this case, it's not. Well, I don't want to say laziness, but it's more like reliance on remakes.
There was some.
Yeah, I think. I think we've just lost Will again. I'll give him a mo to like unfreeze, hopefully.
Yeah.
I
think it's gonna be that cat interfering with the cables again, or it's the fog's got to him.
But yeah, I think the big thing that there he's gone.
Yeah,
and back again.
Loose connection again. Ever fell onto it, call something.
Do we need to give you some cable ties? I'll happily donate. Got loads of them lying around on the desk right now.
Yeah. Get in.
So where were we? Yeah, I think just the only thing to kind of say around that stuff is I think it's just this big weird coincidence, like fitting with different visions. Because I mean, obviously, Resident Evil are doing that whole thing of like using the remakes and the new games and kind of developing them in tandem with stuff like that. Which is why my theory that Resident Evil 9 and Resident Evil 5 remake will be not only similar development life, but also probably similar in style as well. And then Dead Space revival potentially leads to Dead Space 4 as well. That's a big theory.
Yeah,
and we know for and we know for a fact, obviously, Silent Hill 2 is leading into more new Silent Hill stuff. So it seems to be the way to go to revive your horror franchises. Is alternate between remakes and new.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least with the remakes of Silent Hill, at least they don't really lead into one another. Like I said before, that they are pretty much standalone stories, as I understand it. So there isn't kind of a reliance as such to use those remakes to build up the overall plot, as it were.
Yeah.
So at least with Silent Hill, they can probably space out the remakes a little bit more and not need their narrative in order to push the newer games. Like I said, Dead Space and Resident Evil, they kind of require that.
So yeah, any other kind of thoughts?
Yeah, all I can think of is just for now they've come out with everything. And
yes,
that's perfect.
Everything, including the kitchen sink.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the only thought I've got is give us everything and give us a flaming date. That's it. I just want a date by now. I've been so interested to know a date. Even to save the date, like a wedding, that'd be enough for me. Just like, look again at this time, then we'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, Ascension gave us 2023.
Oh, yeah.
In live. So we've got one thing that we definitely know is next year.
Yeah, it's not too far away now, considering we're at the back end of 2022 now.
Yep. Cool. Well, I think, it's probably a good place to kind of wrap things up and leave everyone on a bit of a high from that and give time to digest it and let it all sink in. And obviously, we also have the Resident Evil showcase tomorrow. So it's just a week of like whether we'll get anything kind of more anywhere near as packed as we did for this. We don't know, but there's still lots of stuff that we know we're getting and we're excited for. So we will be back and discussing that. The showcase is 11 p.m. UK time, and then I think it's 2 p.m. Pacific and something like that. But either way, whatever time it is for you, we will be live about half an hour before that and talking about it, and then obviously go into it and watch the thing and react to it. So there'll be a lot to look forward to for that, because it's just, as you say, a good week for survival horror fans, leading into what was going to be a very good year for survival horror fans, I think, in general. So let's look out for. And the other thing before we go, obviously, again, check out the links in the description to make sure you are following Resident Evil Central and R.E.T.I.N.A on every platform that you want. And other than coming back tomorrow and talking about the showcase, and then we're going to be talking about Village's DLC at the end of the month. Anything you want to plug while we're here from yourselves? Anything particular?
No, nothing in particular really. I just said just keep an eye out on Resident Evil Central. We've got some surprising things coming up over the next month, so you don't want me to miss out.
Yeah, definitely should. There's been some very interesting giveaways and all things horror, so always worth keeping an eye on. And R.E.T.I.N.A?
Yeah, two major things really. The quick one, which is more determined on Twitter, is when we reach 4,000 followers, we will be giving away one of these Resident Evil Village flasks, which are handmade, and sadly the lights don't come with them. You'll have to do that yourself. And the other major thing is we are currently in the process of working on Resident Evil Family Fortunes, where we're going to get various content creators from Residents of Evil, Biohazard Declassified, CrimsonHead.com, Resident Evil Central, and their team and everyone else. We're going to have quite a fun time, and we're going to do some very daft Resident Evil survey questions and see if anyone can actually prove that they have the knowledge of Resident Evil to be allowed to be content creators anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all dangling over a pit with our careers as content creators. We'll splat at the bottom if we fail.
Yeah, I'm ready with the combat knife to cut the rope.
Cool. So that's all from us. If you are watching this on Twitch or Facebook, make sure you're following to keep up to date and get notified when we go live again. If you're watching on YouTube, do the whole subscribe, hit the bell thing, not only for the streams, but also for future videos and stuff coming out as well. Because, I just keep that content machine rolling. And if you want to support more directly financially, then feel free to check out the links for Patreon and GoFundMe and get your name in the credits of my videos as well. Absolute bargain price of £1 a month if you want to go for Patreon. But thank you very much again to our guests. Thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.
So is that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out.
At that. When you're flung into the game world, it's immediately striking both how bleak and empty it is and how that emptiness oozes with gore.